Hello, hello, hello. It's the DE Diva. AKA the Delaware blogger. Do you know the theme song? Perry Mason. Good morning. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you with another episode of Podcasting Your Purpose, number 67. We're getting closer and closer to that time. Episode 100. You know what's going to happen? This is going to be a book. We're going to turn all these 100 episodes, 100 podcasting pointer episodes into a book that's scheduled to be released and launched for my 59th birthday in September. So stay tuned. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. Today's topic is Perry Mason was a podcast. You remember that theme song? Do you know who Perry Mason is? You might not even know who he is. You know what? This is a show that my husband and I love. Every night on MeTV at 11:30, we are watching Perry Mason. And I don't care how many times I watch this show, I can never remember the outcome. I know someone's always going to confess because that's just how it works. But Perry Mason, let me tell you something. Go to Wikipedia. You can look it up. Perry Mason was a defense attorney. He defended dozens and dozens of falsely accused people. Every one of his clients, they weren't the ones that did it. And I mean, the person that actually did it would get up at the end and says, I did it, you know, huh? And they would cry and all that stuff like that. But I think Perry only lost one case. And I'm trying to remember what that case was. But Paul Drake was the private eye, and Della Street was his secretary who happened to be with him all the time. It didn't matter what time she was always there, but she was my favorite character. And I love Perry Mason. But before he even had his television show, which first aired on September 21st, 1957, which is a couple of years before I was born. I was born on September 20th, 1961, and it lasted until May 22nd, 1966. But did you know that Perry Mason was originally a radio show? That's right. They had a radio show. Original release date was 1943, a year after my mother was born, and lasted to 1955. That's right. It was originally a radio program, and they did 3,000 episodes before they turned it into a television show. And why am I talking about this today? Because I have been telling you that podcasting is powerful. People are sitting up and taking notice, even the movies, theaters. I mean, people are turning podcast series into full-length feature movies. Yes, TV shows, spin-offs, whatever. If you are following along on the news, you would have heard that there's this company called C13 Features, and they are now creating full-length movies created by podcasters. They're going to be looking for thrillers and dramas and comedies. And guess what? You may not have to do 3,000 episodes to be found, but you're going to have to get started. So if you haven't, you're sitting on the fence and you're not sure whether or not you want to start a podcast, you don't know where this podcast thing is going to lead you. If you want to broaden your brand and expand your exposure online, then you want to start a podcast. That's right. They're taking one episode original scripts, from podcasters and turning them into full-length movies. This is awesome. And you know what? True crime is like the biggest and the most popular topic out there. Now, on my podcast, I have the two podcasts, Blog Your Way to a Business Profit. That's every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And I talk about blogging tips and trends that'll help you turn your passion into a profit. And tomorrow's episode is about blogging mistakes that newbies make. Last week, I started with the first 6, and then we're going to do 7 through 10 on those mistakes that you make and how to avoid them in order to be a better blogger. Because I started my blog, my very first blog, believe it or not, was divadeals.com, fashion and fun after 50. And I started it as a way to connect fashion, fun, food, family, finances after the age of 50. And then I turned that blog into my current blog, which is dellblogger.com. And on Dell Blogger, it's really just podcasting, marketing, and blogging, because I'm doing more teaching and training and education. As a matter of fact, on the 7th of July, I will be presenting Podcasting Your Purpose to the Polka Dot Powerhouse members, the Wilmington chapter. So that's going to be a virtual Zoom event presentation. So sign up with them today. You can head over to their page. I believe it's polkadotpowerhouse.com, Wilmington branch. So you can sign up for that. I'm not sure how many people they're accepting, but I'm really looking forward to doing that. So again, I have been podcasting not as long as I was blogging. My first blog was in 2012. But now that I'm podcasting, I'm loving it. I'm offering those mini coaching sessions. I have the book here, the workbook. And in this workbook, let's go through this just really quickly, because this is not going to be a long video today, because I'm like so excited that podcasting is really blowing up and that people are really understanding its power. I was speaking to another client this morning, and she's about ready to launch her podcast coming in July. And it's going to, again, broaden her brand. She is out there. She's doing the darn thing. She's an author. She's a professional speaker. She's a coach. She's a consultant. She's just a major brand. And now she has decided that she's going to even expand on her brand, broaden that brand, expand that brand with a podcast. So she was a client. I have the 90-minute coaching session where we talk about not only your title, your topic, your intro music, your outro music. We talk about your artwork. We talk about, just everything that it takes to get involved in podcasting, your scheduling, because that's always very important. And she, as part of that program, as part of that mini coaching session, you get this book. And in this book, this workbook, it not only takes you to what is a podcast, but it talks about why you want to start a podcast, the power of podcasting, planning a podcast, because you know what? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. There's content and schedule. If you're going to have a guest or you're going to do a solo host. Podcasting like a pro. What hardware, what software are you going to use? A microphone, a USB plug-in condenser mic? Are you going to simply use the mic from your phone? Or are you going to use other mics? I've got a Yeti mic over there, and I also have another mic. So my studio is over there. Here I'm doing my work. Podcasting promotion pointers. What are some ways? It's never one and done. Are you automating and syndicating your podcast? Are you using Promo Republic so that once you promote your podcast, then you're going to promote it the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year, as long as the content is evergreen, meaning, it could be something for, you're talking about today, but you can still talk about it next year. Podcasting for profit. How are you monetizing and sponsoring your podcast? Remember, I just got my new sponsor, Motion Illustrations, Demetrius Bullitt. And I got this mug here, and we're going to be doing a giveaway as well. Podcasting hosting plans. Who are you going to go with? Elite Conversations, Podbean. There's so many out there. Listen, Buzzsprout. There's a whole bunch out there, but you need to know. And this was a great point that my client brought up. Regardless of the hosting package or plan that you go with or company, make sure you read the fine print. Make sure that you are able to keep your content, that they can't take your content and sell it to someone else. You want to make sure that you own it. And that's one of the big controversies on Anchor FM. People are saying, I don't own my content. Yes, you do. You can take it someplace else if you decide to go to another hosting package. But remember, Once you put something on the internet, it's on the internet. You're giving the powers to anybody to promote your product and or your service. So be careful with the fine print. Let your legal team take a look at it. And speaking of which, again, Anchor FM is my favorite platform for everything. And I have been with Anchor since 2017. I first started out podcasting, just general information, family, fun, activities. Now, again, it's a podcasting pointers podcast every Saturday at 10 o'clock, similar to what I'm doing here on a daily on YouTube. But again, that is my target market audience over there. I'm asking them to come over here as I'm asking you to go over there as well. So podcasting is very powerful. It is mobile. It is easy. People can listen to a podcast wherever they are. They can multitask. They have control. And remember, that relationship is very intimate. The largest sexual organ that a human has is between his or her ears, and that's their brain. So when someone chooses to plug into these earbuds or listen to you with a headphone, they are having an intimate relationship with you. So that is what's so great about that. Good morning. Let's try this. Reggie, did you change your name? I haven't seen you in a minute. How you doing? Reg is another podcaster. You got to check him out. What is it? The Black Coffee Show. Are you still doing that, Reg? I haven't been as diligent listening to other podcasts as I should. But Reg is a great podcast. He's been on Anchor for a while as well. And, Reg, tell us, this is great. We love Anchor. Anchor is a great platform, not only as a new podcaster, but also as a veteran podcaster, because oftentimes, like with any of us, we're multidimensional. So we can have a podcast that's simply about thrillers or true crime, and we can create that series, or we can have a lifestyle podcast, or we can have a finance podcast, or we can have a family podcast. So don't just pigeonhole yourself into one style. You can do whatever you want to do, which is the great thing about podcasting. You're building onto your brand. You're expanding your exposure online. So again, that is a great way in which to leave your legacy. You hear this all the time. And now that you are self-quarantined, now that you have a little bit more downtime, this is a perfect time in which to do so. So send an email to me. Let me give you my email address. If you're interested in learning more about podcasting, because I'm offering you that 30-minute complimentary discovery call so we can figure out what it is that you want to talk about. If you don't want to talk and you rather write, we can talk about blogging as well. So send me an email. If you want a copy of the Podcasting Your Purpose workbook, it's available on Amazon, or it's available from me, $15.99. But if you get it from me, it's shipped free. And the Basic Blogging Tips for Beginners book is also available, but as a bundle, $26. You get both for $26. So again, if you are interested, leave a comment, send me an email, get it autographed, and get it sent out to you as well. So let's get back to some of the other things that you may find in the book. I talk about not only the different types of mics that are available, but also recording software and editing, whether you're doing GarageBand or Audacity. If you're using some sort of booth box to cut down on the echo, remember we talked about that, creating a fort, getting up under the comforter or having pillows, again, because there's a lot of echoes in the room. You got the ceilings, you got the walls, you got the floor. So you want a carpet, you want a pad, you want to close your windows, you close your blinds. Today, the guys are outside working. They're doing repaving of the driveway, so it's kind of noisy earlier. But yeah, you want to make sure that you get that nice sound. How to pitch yourself to be a guest. If you're following along on this series, this is number 67. I gave you some pointers on how to be a good guest and pointers for your guests as well. Remember, you always want to what? Hydrate. Make sure you have your coffee, your water, your wine, your beer, whatever the case may be. And make sure you go to the bathroom before, because you don't want to get out here and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the bathroom. And then you have to stop recording. So again, I'm glad that you stopped in for a few minutes. I love, love, love Perry Mason. I love the theme song to Perry Mason. And so I'm going to play it out. I don't own the right to this theme song, but I love MeTV every night at 11:30, and he also comes on during the day. So he went from 3,000 episodes on radio to a television show, which is cool. So you can go take your podcast and think about it becoming a television show as well. So here we go. Here we go. Let me get this for you. My favorite show. Thank you, Perry. So again, this is a great way to get yourself out there, to get your podcast into a show, sitcom, whatever the case may be. The name of the company was C13 Features. Read more on the Pod News. And until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social. Still from a distance, because I will see you in cyberspace. See ya. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. Have a beautifully blessed day. See you tomorrow for episode number 60.